You're such an asshole.
We got a good question because it made me think, and then I kind of went down a little bit of a rabbit hole and like, oh wow, this is what's going on. So there had to be some tinking going on. Anonymous writes, "Hey Cappy, I know this is something that you briefly touched on with your recent Cappy's original in your podcast, so feel free to disregard this if you don't have anything further to add to the topic. I would like a video response, please. I recently came across this video from Paul Joseph Watson on women in cushy corporate roles, but I think the issue goes deeper than gender and reflects a broader corporate culture." And so you provide the link. It's Paul Joseph Watson, and it's one of these typical um day in the life of a marketing exec. Okay, so today I took the Uber because I slept until 10. And what we really need, look, part of winning this war is realizing agitprop when you see it. And this video that Paul Joseph Watson, who is a bigger, more successful, more influential professional than I am, he should know it's BS. We need to start calling out BS. These are dog whistles. These are cage rattling videos just to rile you guys up. But what should have told you that is when the girl was filming it, there was no one else in any of those videos. Like there was no one in the background. The offices were empty. That is an influencer doing professional wrestling at a way more clever level and a hidden level than, WWE in 1983. Um, I doubt there was any real job. There's all these other videos. Like, did you notice how they're all good-looking women and they all have social media? I mean, I know they all got social media, but that's like they got huge subscriber bases. It's not real. Sure, some back in the day when interest rates were 0.007%, but they're just doing it to rattle your cages and to make money and to get clicks and traffic. So I'm kind of let down on Paul Joseph Watson there. But yes, your speculation here, I think this issue goes deeper than gender and reflects broader corporate culture. You have entire departments such as HR, strategy consultants, heads of product marketing, and junior VC types who don't produce anything tangible. Many of these roles are filled by MBA grads or finance bros from target schools who rely more on buzzwords, soft skills, and Slack meetings rather than any actual output. Yeah, as proven by private equity going bankrupt, just quality and caliber of things going down. But more so, dude, bro, we're just maximizing profit. Well, you're not even doing that. You could sell me on the veracity of consulting and private equity and turnarounds and mergers if you guys actually improved your profits. They don't. Yet they also often have numerous perks such as remote work, free lunches, and complimentary event tickets. Meanwhile, there are engineers, healthcare workers, entrepreneurs, and tradesmen who produce the output of society needed for many of these roles to exist. In my current role, I treat patients, lead a team, manage scheduling, operations, and cash flow, yet I don't have any of the perks mentioned above, even though the output of what I do is tangible and contributes value to society. Which is another well, let me throw it in here now. You know what? Let me add that to my list. I'll say this right now. It's because you don't belong to the entrepreneurial class. And it's not necessarily a high class. That's not what I'm saying. Like, oh my God, you're one of the low. And you're not part of the entrepreneurial team, the guys and the gals that put it together. Now, admittedly, that's startup and entrepreneur new businesses. But the people whoever gets the idea, he or she gets to play entrepreneur and boss. And they're not going to hire the best and the brightest when they start putting together the C-suite and the white-collar job. It's going to be their friends and who they know. And it's going to be a clique. It's going to be a club, especially if it's in America, because that's how people are conditioned from in school. So you'll have that very often. I mean, you could have like a general contractor who's the soft-handed, doesn't do anything, and all the contractors beneath him do the real work. It could be a tech startup where all the nerds are busting their asses off doing it, but the guy who created and got the funding, he gets to hire hot chicks and he gets to be a party and they get to eat dolphin. It's a Dilbert joke. But I'll explain that. That is one of the reasons you have a black and white, blue collar, white collar separation. My question to you is, with the rise of AI and technology in general, will these roles become automated or obsolete? Well, they're already obsolete. Or will they evolve into new, equally ambiguous roles which struggle to justify their existence? Hang on. God, had to kill a bug. Furthermore, where do you see the economy heading with rapid development of AI? Do you think it will push a greater productivity? Okay, I'll answer that one later. All right, so I had to sit and think. You got a contradictory phenomenon. It shouldn't exist. HR shouldn't exist. I mean, some functions of it should. Marketing. Elon Musk, when he took over Twitter, he fired half the staff. There's bloat, right? There is this genuine, useless corporate class that it's like they're the popular kids. Like, how do you get the money? How do you get DEI officers in departments shouldn't exist. They do not contribute to the productivity and profit or employability of the firm. So I said, okay, if profit ain't driving it, it still exists. So there's some other reason it exists. And I figured it. I think I'm pretty accurate on this. Let me pull this up, and you're gonna have to bear with me with my details. Jobs should exist based on the demand of the employers, based on the profitability of the firm, right? The more demand, the higher the sales, the more profit a company makes. That should drive demand for labor. In other words, the supplier of jobs is the employer, and the people who are looking for the jobs are the what is that? No, I had that wrong. Everything is, you can have both sides of the same coin. My apology. The product is labor. Okay, I had it wrong. The supplier of labor are the people. The demanders, the consumer of labor, are the corporations and the employers, right there. That's the correct one, right? Employers demand labor. Labor is the product. The suppliers are the people in the job market, the workers and the employees. So you would say, well, wait, if the employer demands labor, they would only demand labor in as so far as it makes them profit. So why do they have this fat, bloated, worthless class of employees that don't produce anything, or a lot of times negative production? They're costly, they're damaging. What if we were to switch the supply and demand? What if it's not the employers who demand labor and employees provide it, but what if it's employees who demand a job? Which you say, well, what employees don't demand a job? You're right. I'm saying from a consumption aspect. What if employees don't want a job for money necessarily, but they want it for a consumer item? And I'll give you an example of where the true nature of something switches, right? College education. College education is supposed to be an investment. It's supposed to be an investment for your future labor, higher wages. But in reality, what college is a luxury consumer good, where 85% of the kids who go to college don't do it for education or for investment. They're doing it as their final birthright as an American, to have this 4-year party where they get to fake and make believe that they're intelligent people. So even though on the face of it looks like, well, this should be for education, it ends up being a big old party and a luxury for spoiled, worthless, low IQ Americans. There is a significant percentage of people in the labor market who are not so much looking for a job because they need money, but they demand a job and a lifestyle as if they are shopping, as if they are the consumers. The job is not a job. The job is a product they want to buy. I want a career as a girl boss. I want a career as a dude bro finance guy. I want to work downtown where all the action is. One might even say it's not a job, it's a lifestyle, right? And so now we flip it on its head. The employers are now the ones supplying a product, a job that consumers who would have normally been employees, who would have been the suppliers of labor, these people now are the consumers. They want to buy the job. So there's this tremendous demand on the part of a significant percent of the American labor force that wants a job like they want a product. Now, yes, they will get paid, and yes, there's finances, but their overall driving demand for the job, the reason they want to work a job is not to make money, but because they want to have a lifestyle. Does that make sense? And so that delinking from I want a job so that I can make money, and so that, logically I just provide my labor and make the company money. I want a job beyond the labor I would provide, where the role of the job is to give me status and prestige and a lifestyle. So, and that's why you see these videos. They're not doing any work. It's all about the prestige and the lifestyle. It has become a consumer good, no different than a Ferrari or some other ridiculously overpriced luxury item. And so what you have is you have demand for these type of jobs that drive this this waste. Hang on, another fucking dude. We've gotten so much rain in South Dakota. Fucking flies are coming out everywhere. And so now, since they're not primarily motivated with efficiency in providing labor, and by the way, there's also some supply. Like sometimes the corporations want to create they want to have a corporate culture. Like there's a fertile environment. Like, come on and join the Facebook, like Google and Apple paying for you girls to freeze your eggs. There's a very fertile environment for you to join the corporate family and corporate culture, right? So it's not exactly corporations are against this. It's going to get to leadership. I'll get to that later. But there's been in short, there's been a flip. People typically don't demand jobs, right? It's work. They don't want to do it. But they do demand status. They do demand a profession. And so people being so willing to work for a corporation, a nonprofit, whatever, regardless of whether they're paid or not, regardless of whether it's feasible, this company is going to make it long term, regardless of whether there's even demand for it, they will throw themselves into this career and profession so much that they're going to basically force themselves in one way or another. And you have this essentially parasitic, wasteful, pointless, fucking stupid class of corporate employment. And so let me go through some instances where you can see this bizarro world where we flip the motivations and the incentives. All right. First, without a fucking doubt, the Elizabeth Holmes phenomenon. Men want to have sex with hot women, right? You had that astronomer CEO guy who got busted with the chief people officer. No, lady, you worthless, right? HR is fucking worthless. One could argue, well, HR was also an affirmative action, one of the oldest affirmative action programs to employ more women into the office to make it look good for PR. All right. So there's a lot of time there's PR and political motivations that have nothing to do with productivity. So we got to create these make work government job or make work private sector jobs. And so, okay, we'll have Karen go be in HR. We'll foolishly put them as the gatekeepers of the labor. Why is their turnover so high? But mainly, I'll tell you right, a huge factor is men want to have sex with hot women. And generally, though not always, corporate executive types tend to be men. So do the entrepreneurs. And they're going to hire hot women. That's it. And where else are you supposed to find them? Right? School's over. Oh, yeah, you're not supposed to, I know. But at the end of the day, Elizabeth Holmes got how many billions from you horny old men? I had a company. Would you like to finance asshole consulting? Would you like to help me expand horny old men? Oh, you don't want to fuck me. You want to fuck Elizabeth Holmes. So that's one main reason you see that bloat and inefficiency because somebody wants to fuck them. That's it. I kind of touched on it before, but I think the status or prestige of a profession, not a job, was very much ingrained in Gen X mentality and only further reinforced for younger generations, especially you millennials. Like you women were told, right? And Gen Z grass in a mini, whatever. You were told that's the most important thing about your life. You got to go to college. And so you guys are committed. You think that's your value system. You think the most important thing about you is whether you're a good person or a cop or a good chef. Nope. It's that I got my girl boss and I'm a dude, bro, and I'm downtown where all the action is. So that demand for the prestige and status means people are throwing the resume in, and they're desperate. You get the tail wagging the dog here. They'll do anything. They'll try and get in. They'll try and create. Consultants are great at this. Creating demand out of thin air that you don't need. I don't. Maybe it's just low IQ that corporations fall for it. Now, you're consulting the big four. Beforehand, when Anderson Consulting was around, their consultants and their auditors obviously are all hot women. That right there is proof of what I said before. But these people are so desperate, and they're good at it, right? These were the popular kids who were able to create a value system out of nothing except what their parents bought them. It's a fascinating, like, how do you get work? And it kind of carries on that belief in a fiat value system. There's no intrinsic value to what they just want to be popular and be there in downtown and get. That's why they film this shit, even though they don't have a fucking job. So for them, it was a lifestyle. And I think they're throwing themselves at corporations, desperate to get in there. And then enough of them get in there and they start making sure like, well, yeah, we'll hire a whole bunch of other HR Karens and Beckys. Well, sure, we'll hire a bunch of other marketing people. And if you got business managers that are either rookie entrepreneurs or they're not too bright, oh, yeah, man, we need to spend money on sales, bro. Oh, yeah, we need another initiative to help women into the work. For sure, we'll hire a bunch more women. We'll get some quotas in here. So, current popular thing. So it's not that hard to get your average. I'm not joking. Your average corporate executive's got to have an IQ between 105 and 108. I'm not even giving you 110. You're not that smart, which means you think you're smarter than the average person, and you are, but you're dumb enough to get sucker punched and like Becky wanted more women in here. If you know, that's a naughty. Okay. Are they hot? Right? Kind of still high school. Not even high school. More like middle schooly. But we're talking with billions of dollars. So that's another one. Another thing in relation to prestige and status is the main point of your life was your career. Okay? Not only were you conditioned, and that's why you search prestige and status, but more so that your career is now your family. We've removed the nuclear family. Now, the whole point and purpose of your existence is this career. So then obviously your family, your community is your job. And so you go in there instead, like you could tell someone working a job, it's just like, give me my money. I'm going the fuck home because I got a life outside of it. You could tell people who have nothing else going on in their lives but their career because then they work 80 hours a week and they go to Pizza Fridays. Oh my God. We don't expect it, but it should be implied that we have a weekend and we need to have you show up at the barbecue. I remember there was this bank in fucking Wyoming. Fuck all of you, by the way. They're like, well, we expect you to show up at like community events. I'm like, the town's got 3,000 people. What fucking community events? We all know each other. What events? You should go to the parade. I'm not going to the fucking parade. Us marching in the parade ain't going to get business. Lower interest rates might, better terms might, but there ain't nobody here that needs a loan. You got to go to no, because my life, is it 5 p.m.? Fuck you, bye. But they convinced my generation and later all of you, the only thing that matters about you is your career. And that means your family is the corporation. That's why when you see them all get laid, I just want to say what an honor it was to work for the XYZ and I some amazing people. Oh, they're mentally ill. They're fucked in the head. But if they got nothing else to do, what are they going to do? They got to go back to the office. And so they're never going to do real work, but that's their skill. See, they know how to schmooze. They know how to get in. I know a guy who was hired because he was buddies with one of the higher ups. And his whole job was to do social media. And dude, this guy is paid 6 figures a year and he does fuck all shit. And I get the inside baseball on it. And the guy was just looking for a job, but he knows someone. So now you got that's largely how this class gets in there is nepotism and networking. So you got, oh, my buddy Jim is a talentless, washed up hack, but I'm going to get him in here. We're going to pay him 6 figures. What about the line worker who's actually got a family? Maybe you toss them a couple bucks more. Maybe you promote the guy on the line where like, hey, you seem to show up all the time. You want to try a slightly easier job over here? We'll pay a little bit extra. It's not how it works. So especially once their friends get in there, and that happens kind of in the funding stage in college. Oh, did you go to Blue Blood U? Oh my God, I did. I went to Harvard, the smallest brains and penises of them all. Oh, wow. Come on in, JD. So it does start to take on this clique world. And they're so desperate to join this clique world that they'll come in and do anything. And a lot of times they got enough people inside, they'll create bullshit work for them or politically motivated work like HR and DEI. So that you've abandoned, the larger point is you've abandoned meritocracy. And once they get in, they're like cancer, they'll grow and they'll bring in other people. Another thing is they're desperate to put their useless degrees to work. You know, you get sales, HR, business, finance bros. Normally, when we pick on useless degrees, we're talking liberal arts degrees and social science degrees. These people are more your business degrees. And so they'll do whatever they can to get in. And if they they'll stick around. And then this is where a lot of Dilbert, you see it. A lot of self-rationalization. A lot of explaining why your job has value. Going so far as to sabotage other people's work. Again, I never understood why bosses were intimidated by their underlings. I never, like, hustling, shaking, productive underlings. Until kind of now, and even now, I don't understand it. But you get a hustler and a mover in there that actually is no joke and efficient. You're going to prove to the higher ups that this guy's job is worthless. And you could do his job, not to mention 5 others. And that's why you get sabotage and bullshit, because these people don't want to work real jobs. That's why I went into business management. They want to maintain their fiefdom, their little entity, their status, their environment. And if you all of a sudden you come in there and start introducing the real world, like, well, this is all bullshit. We can get rid of this with a spreadsheet. That's why you're like, look how much shareholder value I added. Nah, it ain't making it through that useless bullshit corporate class. Shifting degrees, let's talk a little bit about entrepreneurships or entrepreneurial ventures like newer companies. A lot of them, especially with the second tech bubble, you had a lot of entrepreneurs who are nerdy men who just want to have a social life finally. Not even necessarily get laid. They just want to be one of the cool kids. You saw that in Silicon Valley. Like, hey, let's set up in California. That's Elon Musk. That's all of them. It's like, are you fucking stupid? I want to be popular. Do you want to be profitable? I mean, these guys are in their upper 50s now. Bezos, Musk. And they're just now starting to realize California is a shithole. I could have told you that long ago. It wouldn't matter. They wanted to be there because that's where all the cool kids were. No joke. That's it. You got to be nearby. No, you said it's all online. You do this. Like, you could be in Iceland and do it. Why do you have to all? They're nerds in high school who want to finally be the popular kid. They want a social life. And now you control billions of dollars in financing, and you can create this. You're the king bee, king crab, king whatever. You're the queen bee. So you're not hiring necessarily the best people. You don't even really care about what's being manufactured, right? I mean, we could use IT or Silicon Valley as a perfect example. Most of this shit is made in China. That's where the real production is. Apple, right? Not, but the entrepreneurial class of Apple, they get to drink their mimosas and oh my god, what Tim Cook, who is just a fucking limp-wristed soy boy, finger in the air, current popular thing. If you don't believe in global warming, I don't want your bit. Fuck you, Tim. I don't want your fucking overpriced phones. Yeah. Just the I can't imagine. Apple's got to have a shit ton of corporate bloat. Just a shit ton of these worthless people running around. But using that as an example, yeah, I could see your real function, and this is where you start to see a willingness on the side of employers to give these consumers who demand a lifestyle career. It's switched. The employers say, well, I'll give you this lifestyle if you show up and attend my party. It's why you got ping pong tables and hammocks. Oh my God, look. And all those videos like, hello. Okay, look, so now we're going to the cafe and I'm going to get my biscotti. Right? It's a big party. It's not a profitable party, but it's a big party. Entrepreneur came in. We got some lofts. We renovated some lofts. And we're going to hire Becky. She's just the best. It's all that fake fucking backstabby talky talk that was like in middle school and high school, right? You hire your friends. Oh my God, what should we do? Let's just Dan, just discuss. And they're not doing anything. Yeah, because their function is not to do. Their function is not to go and sell more beer. Their function isn't to streamline the IT flow or whatever to save on bandwidth. It's not that. They were hired primarily to fill the party, to have people come to this entrepreneur's party. And a lot of entrepreneurs don't know you don't need HR. So a lot of them, well, I guess we need a chief people officer, especially one I can fuck. And then they invite their besties and no one's tracking the money because the CEO, the main founding guy, hired his bestie, who's the CFO, who doesn't know anything about income statements. Yeah, you start to see an environment that's not only welcoming, but yeah, come on into our party. I'm an entrepreneur. I got my L round of financing from venture capital. 15 years, no profit, huh? Yeah, but we're gonna go L financing now. And then also related to entrepreneurship. And these entrepreneurs, I can give more credit because they're not naive. Many startups are just scams. I saw this. I worked for one back in the .com days. Didn't know it at the time, but figured it out. A lot of these startups, especially if there's a bubble like you guys, oh, AI, get money, shit. Dude, you could have made off like a bandit. Imagine you were an attractive woman with big tits and you were like late 20s, early 30s. And you said, I am programming an AI language model. I need 2.7 billion. You would have gotten it. Now, you could have been playing with makeup this entire time. But somewhere in there, if you got 2.7 billion in financing, you could have paid you and your besties to all play make-believe corporate executive team. Paid yourself salaries of 10 million apiece, and you're it did. Oh, the technology didn't work. Tee oops. But I'm not picking on women. That was every dude in the financial crisis and the .com bubble. But entrepreneurs, a lot of them now, because investors are stupid, Wall Street is stupid. They'll say, we got a new technology. And then all the middle gray hair pube guys, how much money can we give you? Don't you want to analyze our figures? No, I heard a buzzword. I heard a buzzword. AI, I give you billion now? Do I give you the billion before you say AI or after AI? I just want to give you money. So a lot of these guys, they come out, they get, you don't even need billions. You need a couple $1,000,000. You pay you and your buddies to be corporate executive team. Each get paid 200,000 a piece for 5 years. That's $1,000,000 gross. Oh, the technology didn't work. Economic headwinds, tariffs, whatever. The fucking idiots on Wall Street will believe you. Oh yeah, it didn't make it past the 3rd round. Sorry. Meanwhile, you and your buddies, 5 years, $200,000 a piece each. $1,000,000. Take home 670, depending on the state you're in. You're set for life if you save it. And then a lot of it though, it's not so much to get the funding money to just splurge it on salaries. A lot of it is to create a fake company that you then sell to some fucking dope who actually believes the ink on your paper. In either case, you're not hiring people to actually produce a product. You got to hire some to make it look like there's a product. But the rest of it is fanfare. It's theater. There, the bloat is almost necessary to make it look like your company is real. And I've seen that happen, man. Whether it's the bloated salary technique or we're going to try and sell the company. I mean, they'll try, but look, you offer them a couple $1,000,000,000. Oh, yeah, here you go. Oops, it was never profitable. Sorry. Now you're in the courts. Kind of happened to Elon with his purchase of Twitter. But yeah, when you're not even there to make money, it's a boiler room. It's a scam. So you got to hire a secretary. You got to hire marketing people. And the thing is that you got to hire regular people and convince them it's not a scam. And these people are saying like, what the fuck are we doing? And that's where it's just a club at that point. We're going to go to conventions. Oh, we're going to conventions. We're going to go to conventions. We're going to talk about, I'm going to deliver speeches. And we're going to go to this networking event. They're just burning through capital. And then you guys who might actually be employed or you might be a supplier or contractor, you're looking like, what the fuck is going on here? It was a scam and a racket to begin with. Or worse, it was just somebody who's a wantrepreneur who actually thinks they're going to make money but don't want to put the hard work into it. Same effect, just different motivations. Another thing, the amount of coma money in the private sector. I mean, there's make work jobs in the government, but the amount of coma money, keep her off my ass money, that goes for both men and women. A lot of times you'll have dad give their son or their daughter some money and like, yeah, go create a company. More common, it's nepotism where the son or the daughter is hired and they turn it into their little fiefdom. It's a party. Remember, it's a lifestyle. It's not about making 3% more widgets and higher quality widgets at that. It's not that. And why did dad promote them in there? Was it for the point and purpose of the company or the more efficient production of stuff? No. Because nothing's too good for daddy's little princess. What happened to daddy's face? I don't know. He ran into a pissed off Gen Xer. What happened? My God. Why did he etch meritocracy with a cigar lighting torch? Meritocracy on this guy's leg. What does that mean? I don't know. That's weird. It's just weird shit happening over there. And then also kind of under the same umbrella of just general inefficiency, there's charity hiring. Just like nonprofits create make work jobs and the government have make work. It happens in the private sector too. Yes, we're going to hire a bunch of HR people. We're going to hire a bunch of DEI people. We're going to create committees and consultants. A lot of that's CYA. A lot of it could be nepotism. A lot of it could just be stupidity. A lot of it could be the corporate executive team is too busy to see what Karen is doing with the HR budget. It could be outright fraud where you're hiring your buddies and just paying them not to do anything. It happens. And then finally, The reason you probably saw more of it recently is because of the low interest rate environment. I know it's not sexy, but it's true. Uh, with when you gotta get there's people with money. Savings wasn't paying anything, but if they could get a 7 to 8%, or not even 7, 3 to 4% rate of return as opposed to 0.5%. Oh yeah, people are throwing money at that. And that's also where you have your biscotti shops showing up and worthless 24-year-old idiots. Like, okay, how you doing? Like, some of which I believe were real videos. A lot of them I don't believe. But yeah, low interest when the money is easy. Yeah. Surprise, they serve more dolphin at marketing meetings. There's more HR Karens and their besties Becky and Trisha being hired. And they're going to have self-declared meetings about how they're going to lead the company. But then, so that was to establish the phenomenon of a useless, bloated, fat, worthless class within corporate America and why it exists outside of the real world, right? Like, why do these worthless people exist? Because there's many incentives on both sides of the party that allow it to. But in short, young people especially, are so desperate to have the prestige and status of a profession that it forces them into these worthless roles. And there are aspects of corporate America that allow for it. However, inevitably reality kicks in, right? Elon comes along, fires half of Twitter. Corporate raiders come in, fire you all. You don't make money like it happened in the .com days. You don't make enough money. No, we're not refunding. We're not financing you for a fifth round. Dude, there's like A, B, C, D rounds of finance. I looked into it. Dude, I've seen them go up to M. M. No, there's not an M round of financing. Inevitably, the .coms had to start making money no matter how many ping pong tables and pool tables they had. I mean, American investors are pretty fucking stupid, but inevitably like, hey, wait a second. And especially if interest rates go up, yeah, now there's opportunity cost from it. I can make 5-6% risk-free in the bank or with a CD, and then the money dries up. But inevitably, yes, their reality comes kicking in, especially if there's a recession. If you got higher interest rates and a recession, then people start checking their pennies. And then the good old days are then the trips to Vegas or Carnival cruises for a company party are over. Then they start looking at the expense account of Karen and Thaddeus. That happened in the housing bubble and the .com crash. But it doesn't eliminate how we trained and mentally conditioned basically our entire workforce to go and throw themselves on the beaches of corporate careers. And that's the most important thing. So what ends up happening is you have this battle between two very powerful forces, economic reality, which is going to win in the end, and then the egotistical desire of girls to girl boss and boys to dude bro. Right? They will throw themselves because that's all they've been trained on is to get that fucking dude bro or girl boss lifestyle. So what ends up happening is it's a battle that goes back and forth depending on economic conditions. If economic times are good and people ain't staying too attentive to the expense account, these people get in. Stupid projects get financed. And they all of a sudden they establish a beachhead and now they're growing like rabbits. If economic times are bad, all of a sudden you get in a no-joke guy like Elon Musk or Jack Welch or somebody comes in and actually has they're not there to have fun. In some instances, you get these corporate raiders that come in and they at one time private equity would have actually been good. But you get a no-joke corporate raider that comes in and says, this is bullshit. We can run this way more efficiently. We could fire everyone. They're not making any money. We could fire everyone, take the assets, sell it, and make money on the bond market. Junk bond market. Never mind. Very boring stuff. And that That will happen, especially during bad economic times when asset prices tend to go down. So I don't think you're ever going to get rid of this worthless corporate class. Now, going on, let's go to your question. So I just want to establish that the useless, worthless corporate people will always exist because that's how we condition them. And there are at times groups of people within employers who wish to accommodate that for reasons that aren't profitability, right? So there will always at times be an environment where these useless corporate people, HR, marketing, general business, consultants will always exist. Right now, my question to you is, with the rise of AI and technology in general, will these roles become automated or obsolete? Well, they already are obsolete. Okay. They are not most of you guys in marketing aren't needed. Yes, you do need marketing, but most of you don't do a real job of it. HR, get the fuck out of here. So they already are obsolete. And some of them can be automated. I think IBM, I still can't believe the article. They said they replaced like 8,000 HR people. I'm like, who has 8,000 HR people in there with AI? So some of them are getting automated. Some of them are getting replaced. I do believe that AI can replace all business majors because business majors aren't that smart or intelligent. You're just, at most, you're making charts and you're dealing with spreadsheets. And it's not high level. And you're definitely, especially the younger, you're definitely not paid to make decisions. So, yes, it can be automated. Yes, in some instances, I think you can replace them. But remember, a lot of these jobs are not there because of efficiency or they were needed. They were there for ulterior reasons that had nothing to do with streamlining and efficiency. And it's going to depend on who's in charge of that company at that time and economic conditions when they say, yep, we're getting on. Now, it looks like, because it's the current buzzword, the thing is to replace as many employees with AI as possible, whether that's artificial intelligence or actual Indians, so that expenses go down, profits go up, stock price go up, number go up. That's where you got to look out, because a lot of these mindless corpo bros, they don't care. They're like, no, we're getting rid of how much money let's get rid of all of them. So you can have a trend like AI come in, and all of a sudden this Becky and Tina having their biscotti goes away. Will these roles become automated or obsolete? Yes, if management wills it, right? If management wills it. Or will they evolve into new, equally ambiguous roles which struggle to justify their existence? Also, yes. They may have to leave an employer that got taken over. They may have to go elsewhere. But they are so determined to have that lifestyle, they will exist in one form or another. And there's always going to be some sucker, some dope, some low IQ fuckwit, or some idealist entrepreneur who will provide housing for them. Again, the amount of funding will be determined by interest rates and how good the economy is, whether there's a bubble or not. But these people are never going, like, the mentality, right? We could lay off everybody. Do you think the girl boss mentality is going away? Do you think the dude bro mentality is going away? They'll just show up somewhere else. Right? Do Democrats go away? Did the young Democrats wake the fuck away? Yeah, sometimes they do. Oh shit. I got to work for a living. But for the most part, they're just like, I'm entitled to free shit. You know how sad it is seeing 41-year-olds beg for a student loan bailout? Like, hey, could you just fucking work and pay off your debts? They're not going to change. And kind of, I understand. That's how they're raised. You know, if you're raised Christian, you're raised Muslim, you don't think about it. You're going to stick with that for the rest of your life. And you're going to make reality bend to your will. Same thing with dubroism and girlbossism and careerism. That's it. That's their only God. And that's all they've invested in. That's what you train them to do. And now they don't care if there's the opportunity to. Do you know how long it took me to finally realize I wasn't cut out for banking? It took me 18 years. Right? Now, I make money. making fun of you bankers who, I don't know if I mentioned this before, you are small dick, low IQ fucks. You're horrible at your job. Anybody could do your job better than you. It's true. Try to get look, especially the women. You told them to not have sex, not have kids, not get married, not have families. That's the worst thing possible. So now their youth and their fertility is gone. Wow, they're definitely going to double down. So it's like, Jesus, the poor you shall always have with you. The dude bros and girl bossettes you shall always have with you, until we start training our children to not think purely in terms of just careerism and slave away and pay taxes all the time. So they'll show up where they can. In bad economic times, they'll go back to college. This is why when there's economic recessions, everyone gets their MBAs. Girls go to law school. But that just further cements them into their commitment to their profession, that lifestyle. So, will the rise of AI and technology in general, will these roles be automated and obsolete? Both. If they're obsolete, they won't be needed. If they're needed but can be automated by AI, they will, and they have. Started getting rid of some pretty worthless people, not just in business, but like journalism, kind of mindless fucking fields of professions. Or will they evolve into new, equally ambiguous roles which struggle to justify their existence? They will migrate to create the new thing, right? Let's go back 50 years. You didn't have HR, you had personnel, and Bob would hire you on a handshake, right? That was it. Then we created HR, and then there was ESG, and then there was their environmental department and corporate carbon footprint reports, and then there's DEI, and then they're going to call it Bridge. These people will create entire sub-industries within corporate America and the world to rationalize their existence, and if not, they'll go become consultants. Dude, people will fucking hire them. They'll fucking hire them. It's hilarious. So, yes, let's put it this way. The strongest force in their individual lives is for them to dude, bro, or girl boss. Nothing's going to stop them. And the economy might prevent it, but they will go anywhere and everywhere to make that dream come true. They will. Including saying, oh, this isn't working. I ought to change tactics and strategy. No, they will dude, I don't know how old you are. Wait until these people, like they're in their 20s and 30s now. Wait till in their 50s and 60s. You could see some of them baby boomers. You got that washed up banker who's been divorced thrice, didn't save any money, still fucking trying to make loans. This guy's got a dog and he's got a tractor trailer and he has some scrap metal that we could use for collateral. Like, what? What choices did you make to get here, buddy? Question you arises. Yeah. But so there's going to be this class, this group of people that they're going to be zombies looking for their. Oh, look here. I'll give you another example. They'll all become influencers, right? Hey guys, all the journalists that got laid off at their newspapers that are now like which frankly is better. You probably make more money, but we all can't be. I think I estimated the amount of full-time jobs the influencer economy can support is like 2.1 million in the US. Yeah, they'll do anything but give up journalism. Anything. Like there was, hang on. Hang on. Is it the HR lady? I don't think this was it. No, this one isn't it. This gal's still working. There was some gal who did not like me. It was sad. The HR lady, the one that comes up, that's not the same gal. That guy's about my age, a little younger. It looks like she's still working and hustling. It was like 2013, 12 years ago. And I got into it on the internet about HR. And it was this HR gal. And you looked at, and back then she was like 63, fat, gray, and her blog was about how the importance of HR, how HR is really important, and you need this and that. And I think I looked up her LinkedIn, and it was just sad. Like trying to make a go at that career. You could have been a grandma. You could have, you could have stayed in shape. You could have found a wealthy man. You could have become an accountant. You could have been a mechanic, literally anything. Nope. She kept pushing that with this shitty ass website, which I'm aware my website is also shitty. And I saw her not too long ago, like 3 years ago, not even, maybe even 2. And I'm like, oh, I remember this gal, and the website's still there, and posts are old, and just trying to rationalize and defend her fucking despicable fucking industry. It's like, it's over, lady. Give it up. Go spend time with your grandkids. If you didn't freeze your eggs, you're going to see a lot of that. You're going to see these zombie-like desperate professionals trying to have what they have, whatever. In her case, it would have been the 80s, the Murphy Brown era. These girls who were like, "Good Cherokee, Boston a minute," and I'm like, "Ah, today, blah, 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 blah." Imagine them at 48. They're still going to try it. See, I'm a social media content manager. Dude, just go to the truck stop. Just go to the truck stop. That's actual real GDP. There's actual value in that. No joke. But they'll carry it, man. Just like journalists, they'll never stop being journalists. Doesn't matter if there's no demand, no one wants to hear their shit. Same thing with this class of worthless corporate bloat. They will find some, and they'll all become self-declared consultants. Won't be as edgy as asshole consulting. They'll all offer the same shit. It's going to be a sad group of middle-aged. Dude, there's nothing worse than a washed-up girl boss, which I see now at my age, and a washed-up dude, bro. Dude, with their fucking leased 5-year-old Lexuses and Mercedes. God, you guys are so fucking pathetic. Knock it off. Remember this lawyer had a sob. Oh, what a fucking twice divorced. Oh, hilarious. So they'll be purged from their current roles, but they'll find a home somewhere else. Furthermore, where do you see the economy headed with the rapid advancement of AI? Do you think this will push people to achieve greater productivity, or will people use AI to further justify the laziness and lack of ambition? Both. Yes. I mean, depends on the people. Yeah. So, I mean, I use AI, not in a huge capacity, but instead, because I don't want to use copyrighted images, right? It's becoming increasingly harder to find free images to use. So then I'll go to Perchance, and if I have a simple image, Perchance can make it pretty simply. So yeah, and I know especially business major level work, right? That could be odd. That's going away. I'll agree there. AI is going to replace that shit. HR gone. People are already using software. They've been using that for years to filter for keywords and resumes. It can, yeah. I mean, it can. It saves me time. Will people use it to further justify their laziness? Yeah, sure. Like the kid who got his degree and had AI do all the homework for him. Yeah, of course it will. But I don't see it. It's not going to crash the economy or the labor market as much as people who are desperate to rationalize UBI hope it will. I don't think it's going to be that big of a game changer. I know they keep saying that, says the AI company CEOs who yet to make a profit. I know they keep saying that. And I know the CEOs of all the other companies are regurgitating the AI talking point, and some actually are replacing. But I don't think Stephen Mullen, who said it best, People without any innovation or creativity will be replaced by AI. There's your HRs and your content creation managers and your dude bros. You're all gone. Goodbye. I'd like to say AI will replace the entire finance industry, but index investing has already replaced that. Robo investors have already replaced that. The technology that was going to replace a lot of people already has right now. AI is a little bit more, but yeah, it's going to affect these worthless people more than someone with tangible skills. Uh, it's going to lessen corporate America's reliance on the worthless corporate class. But remember, the worthless corporate class does not arise because of an original demand for a real job with real productivity. It arose for different reasons, ulterior and outside the profitability of the firm. Those are human and sexual and egotistical reasons. Everyone's going to want to throw a party. Everyone's going to want to throw a party. Men are going to want to fuck hot women in pencil skirts. Girls want a corporate CEO to have sex with them. Everybody wants to. Imagine, here's what it is, right? In the 80s, like, oh, you want to get invited to the cool frat party. This is the cool frat party. Everyone wants to be. This is the hot nightclub. Everyone wants to be invited to it. Until the nightclub, like all nightclubs, runs out of money and it's shut down. And then the party goers will just find another place to go. And then, like party goers, if you're still doing cocaine at 48, bro, let's go on the boat, bro. Pretty fucking sad, pathetic. So there you go. Link below. I have 2 resources. For those of you who wish to avoid being replaced by AI, my book, Worthless, The Empress's Indispensable Guide to Choosing the Right Major. Please take a look at that. But Cappy, was written in 2011. Can you adjust for inflation? No, you adjust for inflation. Take all the numbers, multiply by 1.6. There. And then I also, if you are interested in a career, which I keep saying is going to be replaced by AI, but me and Chad doubt it, I have a course called The World's Greatest Accounting Career. The reason we put that together is because my friend Chad, who's a CPA, had a lot of people asking questions about accounting careers. And he didn't want to do the thing, so he just gave me his notes, and I did the thing because I'm a better public speaker than him, not to mention he didn't want to do it. So if you're interested in a career in accounting, which is probably one of the easiest, and by easy, I mean, it's still going to take a lot of work, but it's doable. One of the more conducive, let's say, careers to get self-employed and remote employed, you might want to look into accounting, specifically becoming a CPA, or more easily an enrolled agent, the details of which are in that course. But yeah, dude, if you want to avoid all this girl boss corporate politics bullshit, choose the right degree, choose the right profession, right? If you're an electrician and you run your own shop, you don't deal with this bullshit. If you're an accountant and you have your own tax practice, you don't deal with this bullshit. You don't have meetings. And then if you're interested in becoming a contractor, check out Dumbass Contractors, Scott Wilson on the internet. YouTube, he also has a website. I could speak about the accounting industry. That's why I have that course. But if you're more interested in the trades, look at that. And you know what? Railroads are hiring. You want to not deal with this bullshit? Go work for the railroads. Capital will be boring and they'll throw me out in the middle of Nebraska. Yes, they will. And they'll pay you $80,000 a year and you don't have to go to college. You'll be 19 years old. You do that for 4 years and then you're set. All right, let's go to the super chats. Hand clogs, $2. Cappy, how can you be Sydney Sweeney #1? I'm not. Sydney Sweeney's hot. Don't get me wrong, but she's not like my favorite. God, my favorite was Ava Mendez, but I don't know. I don't go online. Oh my God, what does Ava Mendez look like today? Used to be what's her name? I still like Selma Hayek. That's my naughty girl. Jennifer Aniston was the good girl. Ava Mendez was the one that, yeah, I think I could get her. And Selma Hayek would be the one that, I don't care if Ava Mendez is married to me and I put a vow before God, I'm fucking Selma Hayek. If Selma Hayek came to my house, all bets are off. But Sydney Sweeney, yeah, she's very attractive. She's not as hot. Not as hot. Hat and clogs, $2. When are you in a relationship with Big Mike? I am not in a relationship with Big Mike. Son of Sam, $5. I thought it was mostly just about breaking fake glass ceilings and celebrating. Well, that's another motivation that women might have. That's what motivates the girl boss, I guess. Dude bros are just dude broing, and I want to make the six figs, drinking and partying and whatever. But it all at the end of the day is still professionalism, corporatism, careerism. How you celebrate it obviously would depend on the individual. Yes, girls had a greased skid to get into this. Like, oh my God, you're going to fight for all the rights of women in the past that were just chained to trees and beaten by the patriarchy in the past. Just freeze your eggs over here. Oh, what do you mean the electricity went out? Oh, your eggs are dead. Yeah, and that's the rituals they go through. I mean, after a while, you've left any real work. And it's all rituals, right? We're gonna have a conference meeting. We're gonna go to the, seminar. All those worthless seminars they've had about women in whatever industry. It's like, get over yourselves and get the fucking all that time at the seminar is you not working and not closing the wage gap. Nico Mimi, $5. Cappy, what's your favorite rifle? Ooh. That's a bullpup. I like my Taver 95. My favorite rifle is probably my AR-22. I got an AR that shoots a 22, and I like it just because it's so practical. I can go varmint hunting with it, keep critters off my yard. If the ammo is cheap, if there's a crisis, you're going to be eating rabbit and squirrel, and that's the perfect gun for it. You could train with it really well. So if you upgrade to the 5.56 or 223, like an AR-15, yeah, I think, and it's just fun. I think my favorite gun is that 22, my semi-automatic 22. Alex Patino, truck driving Latino agent in the field, $5. That's why people go for jobs like advertising with their communications degree, barely make 30,000, rather than become a plumber or lineman, making the money. Exactly. You'd be surprised how little these people actually make. Now, if they're connected and they're besties, and you're the chief people officer and you're sucking the CEO's dick, well, maybe you're making a little bit more. You're getting paid to suck a dick, not to be doing chief people officer shit. Oh, fuck out of here. Yeah. And you'll see that with dude bros, man. They'll like sales, and their take home is nothing. Sure, you generated 2 million, but your take home was like 40 grand. I should say that because I don't make much more than 40 grand. I get by on it. But I don't present myself. I don't go lease a fucking Beamer. Vito, 10 generous euros. Hey, Cappy, got a job in IT. Good for you, man. Working in network operations center, a tier 4 data center. I don't know what that means, but Nuke does. It sounds very good. Went to corporate BS to monitor my country's entire internet infrastructure, mass security. So that's great, man. That's great. I don't fuck it up, okay? Just stay there, make your money. Hey, when I was younger, I believed like, well, I want to do something for society. Like I want my work to count. And then by about 30, I stopped caring. It's like, just give me the fucking money. But it's still nice to be able to do something. They're like, wow, you actually do make a difference. Aaron Purdue, 10 generous bucks. Your econ discussion, 62% labor force participation minus actual disabled. My guess, 25% unemployed, actually including those who fell off the rolls and just gave up. That's 1932 problems. Yeah, the data isn't out there because economists are not going to calculate because like, this is horrible. I want to know total dependency ratio. I don't want to know age dependency ratio, which is just old people divided by young people. I want to know how many parasites are there divided by the number of producers. Or we could do producers to parasites. I don't care how you do the ratio. I want to know everyone who is working versus everyone who is not. That's the number I want. Right, writer, $2. We all feel trapped in this system. At least you're at home. Yeah, no, I'm eternally grateful. I had to be in there for the longest time. I do not miss it, and I know I am very lucky. And I will never go back. Just so you hear me, dude bros and HR ladies, I'm never coming back. I think HR women, the point of HR women is for them to work taxes to pay for our welfare. Like if you go to a job interview and there's an HR person, they're like, nope, I'm not working here. Nope, you're going to work to pay my taxes, HR lady, or to pay my welfare, HR lady. Have fun girl bossing. You're paying my welfare check is coming out of your paycheck. I'll go clean. I'll join ICE. I'll go and join the railroads, ICE. There was another one. Truth is, I'll probably just set up a handyman shop, charge $120 an hour, and go do the job that contractors won't. Yes, I'm better than you. Yes, I am. Me and YouTube, I can replace all of you. You can't take, if I have the equipment, I can. Yes, I know you have the equipment, but I can go get your skill. Minus sticking my dick in a sister's mouth, which is all you contractors, all of you. Yeah, so try to get out. And that's where minimalism comes in. Swallow Blue. Hey, buddy, $5. 99% of all startups fail within 5 years. Investors give money to these companies in hope of another unicorn startup. Right, they do, but they are also, their decision is also overly affected by politics or wanting to get fucked. Right? Oh, is it a black startup? Oh my God, I want to show right, that whole ESG fund, and we want to channel money, and we'll lower your interest rates. If you do political thing, whether it was based on race or gender or the environment, whatever, it doesn't matter. Right? It does affect. But tell me if Elizabeth Holmes was some fat, loud pig, don't tell me she would have gotten billions in financing. But yes, you're right, Swallow. They should, ostensibly, it should be like, yeah, and then I throw many seeds across many lands, and most of them will fail, but every once in a while we'll get a hit. We'll make trillions of dollars. I just think that instead of throwing all that money away, they could have analysts like me be a little bit more cynical and astute and say, yeah, take that money and just create a trade school with it, or go build some homes, man, or whatever. But please don't give this money to a bunch of fucking scam artists, essentially. Right, writer, $2. Philanthropy doesn't appeal to you. Can't show me where it's worked. I will help out individual people like Thor and Missy who had genuinely bad times fall upon them. But no, show me where charity works. All charity does is enable further bad and destructive behavior. Charity doesn't work. It doesn't. It just makes the problem worse. The only thing charity does is further impoverish, keep people alive to suffer more in poverty, while liberal white women feel good about themselves. That's it. People suffer so liberal white women feel good about themselves. Oh, and then we all pay extra taxes. That's where charity leads you. A handful of liberal white women feel happy about themselves. You've kept an entire class and generations now of people poor, and all of us have to pay higher taxes. Everyone in that process go fuck themselves. All right, there you guys go. Link below, the world's greatest accounting career. Available on teachable.com. And Worthless, the young person's indispensable guide to choosing the right major. I will see you guys later. Toodles.